All right, there we go. Well, welcome everyone to Cloudy County. This is our virtual land grant slash extension community call where we talk about nerdy stuff, primarily in the Microsoft cloud, and hopefully show you new ways to get things done. Totally understand that there's a lot of new things out there, and your time and attention are limited as to how much can you actually learn about technology while also learning about the changing landscape of your job. So we try to show you things that are useful and hopefully make some process or thing easier in your life. And yeah, that's what we do. My name is Dwayne, and my partner in crime here, uh, Joe. Hey, Joe. How's
Hey,
it going, buddy?
yeah, good afternoon. Thanks for having us,
Yeah.
joining us. And I guess we'll get started off with our what's new. We're going to dive into a number of updates that we normally do across the Microsoft 365 space. And then we'll dive into talking about designing channels. And I think there's a bit of a hit there around maybe talking a little bit more about shared channels. Those are our newest type of channels. And we'll get started here. Share my screen. All right. First thing I just want to talk about a little bit. There is a nice event coming up in May. I'm going to drop some links in there. A great, I mean, you're part of the community here. This is a community conference. There is um, a lot of MVPs, subject matter experts that talk in this event. Um, there is keynotes by Microsoft. There's just a number of sessions that you can take a look at here. If there is something that you're interested in the Microsoft 365, you're going to find sessions talking about that. It's in Vegas. It's not too deep into the heat. So it's not too bad of a time to maybe visit there, but definitely something to take a look at. This is a great conference. I would definitely recommend thinking about this and, always be growing, always be training. Um, there's a registration link there also, and a little discount code if you want to use that MVP Gasper. A little discount goes a long way. Maybe throw that discount out on the roulette table. You never know. But next thing we're going to talk about is some changes happening. One thing that's coming in Teams and around Teams meetings is attendance reports. So I'll drop that in the chat and we can talk about this too. Attendance reports, right now there's no, unless you've got something else going on or you're just retaining your meetings for a short period of time, they're going to start basically only being available for an entire year. You'll have, time to go back in time a year to grab those. If you've got, I know we've got some of our agents have to do annual reporting and things like that. So if you've got a process where you go back every few months, and if you're running meetings with your clients and you want to grab attendance reports, just something to be thinking about is making sure you're keeping up to date and collecting that information. You don't want to lose that. Next thing we'll talk about is, and this is a nice feature because I'm always renaming these, but when you create a shortcut to OneDrive in from a Teams channel, a folder, now we're going to start getting an updated shortcut name, and it's going to include the team name. Previously, it would just give you the channel name. So if you shortcut to the general channel of 4 or 5 teams, it was kind of hard to deal with. I often would go in and rename those, which is safe to do. Now they're actually going to give us a nicer default name, and I think it's active in this tenant. So I'm going to bring up Teams. I'm in general channel of this team. I'm going to go to Files. I'm going to create our favorite shortcut to OneDrive. Recommend to do that from now on instead of a sync. I'm going to add shortcut to OneDrive. You can see the name right here now includes the title of the team. So it's definitely going to be easier to find and locate those in your OneDrive.
Which is great because every team has a general channel.
Yeah.
So if you sync the general channel, sorry, I used
Yes.
the wrong word. Don't
Yeah.
sync. We don't
Yes.
sync, right? Friends don't let friends sync. You add a shortcut to your OneDrive. If you sync, bad things will happen later.
Yeah. And
We
now we
promise.
don't, like you said, we don't end up with multiple general channels and having to go. Some of us
Yeah.
like to go in there and even I would do this manually. I don't need to do this now. I would sometimes put an underscore at the very beginning. I personally like to have those kind of at the top of my OneDrive, at the top of my file listing. And people actually I've seen move them into their own folders, like a subfolder. So these are shortcuts. They're a little bit safer to work with. Kind of nice that way than a heavier weight sync that you get. Let's go back. Yeah, let's go back into Teams.
Can I pause you for a second and interrupt you, throw you off the rails?
Yeah.
I want to call out the site that you're actually on.
Yeah,
Merrill. Merrill is amazing. Merrill is a product manager for identity at Microsoft, and he makes some amazing tools that are just really handy to use. So this a little nerdy, like IT admin type focus stuff. But what we're looking at is the message center, which is what goes to administrators to understand changes that Microsoft is rolling out. Well, if you don't have access to the admin center, you can't read those messages. And so Merrill is posting basically a duplicate or a copy and putting it on the web so that everybody can see it. So if you're an IT person and you're here, you should bookmark this site so that you can read these message center posts. He also makes a lot of other like little add-on type things that do great things for admins, like cmd.ms is one of his sites that he uses. That's basically an entry point to every single admin portal all in one site. Even a handy little browser extension that comes with that. So if you're lazy and you don't want to type in the whole name or you can't remember what freaking portal does what, um, he has a shortcut for it here, which is awesome. And getting even more geeky, he also created the Graph X-Ray plugin, which lets you see the actual commands that are being run when you make changes in the admin portal for Intra. So you can make your own scripts and stuff by clicking around. So he's a great guy. Love the stuff that he comes out with. Definitely bookmark the Message Center site though. It's fantastic.
Yeah. This command one too is this is in GitHub, so it's an open location where if you've got one place in the M365 space that you need to go to and it's not in here, you can basically go in and ask to have it added on top of it. So if we're missing something here, you could get it in there. And there's some interesting things in here that just discovery, like mystaff.microsoft.com. What's that? There's just interesting places that we may or may not have access to, depending on your role in the administration of Microsoft 365. But yeah, those are great call outs. Yeah, his site here, bringing out the message center, is there can be differences between an education message center and a like a enterprise message center. So there could be some things that are different that might not be visible. I'm not sure what he's pulling from. He's probably not pulling from an education. I'm guessing, maybe not. I don't know for sure. We'll have to maybe see if we can find some differences. But you're definitely going to get a great overview of the vast majority of changes that are happening fast over here. I'm going to jump into Teams, and we've got a new little feature in Teams. If I want to, let's start a quick meeting. Go test. Got a little bit of capabilities, new capabilities we have with there we go. There we go. With together mode views. And it's going to be a little, won't be as clear how to do it on this call, but in our view settings, there's always been this for quite a long time now, a together mode option where you can bring, if you got a bunch of people on the computer screen, you can bring them into something that looks and feels like a classroom or a little coffee shop, auditorium. So some of these support up to 50 people, the first 50 with their videos on, 5 people. So the little settings that are fun to play with. Halo, y'all feel like you're on a starship. What's cool about these is every view of these, everyone sees the same view. So if someone is on the third row in the second seat, everybody sees that person in that same location. But there's a new capability here now is if I just let me bring in a small one. So I've set this up, and I can now do a few little changes to this. Let's go back. Try that again. So I've got the ability here to assign seats now. There's only one person on this call right now, but I can see the list of people who are on a call, and I can bring them over and actually stick them in a specific seat. So you can kind of have some assigned seatings, people next to each other, and do things like that, assign a seat. And I can then change the scene. I can decide if I want to turn this on or off for everybody, force everybody to see this. So there's a couple new options there that we can take advantage of. Has anybody ever seen this and used it? I'd be curious if you got something in the chat. I see this used a lot where you have a monthly call. At the end, everybody comes on camera and everybody takes a quick photo, like a quick selfie of your meeting. So kind of fun to do something like that.
I'll give you a different reason to use it.
Yeah.
Let me grab trying to grab a screenshot here. I'll throw it in the chat. One of the reasons that a person may like to use this is because it unifies the background for everybody who has their video feed on in the call. It can be a lot to see Joe's fancy decorated background and my bat cave and some guy's, background as he's driving and some other person's ceiling fan, and or somebody's crazy virtual background that they created. And so I just threw some screenshots in there of how I'm seeing the gallery right now in our call. And I can see myself and Joe just on a nice flat gray background. And that can be a lot easier on your eyes and on your brain. So that's another kind of different reason I would say to give it a try.
It's not to give a high five. Is that what that is?
I don't know. I'm too far away from you and I have to go this way. I don't know. You sat too many rows down.
Great. Some of those, maybe assigned seating sounds a little, obviously our education tenants have a K through 12 capability there too, but can have some fun playing with that for sure. Take advantage of that. All right, let's see. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about some updates coming to what is our, let's see, Clipchamp. Here we go. Clipchamp. Clipchamp is our video editor, our free built-in video editor, cloud-based service. It is also taking over the stream branding. You're going to start seeing less and less of stream and more of Clipchamp as your home for videos in Microsoft 365. We're getting a dark mode. That's nice if you're editing late at night, might be helpful. Another item that here that's very nice is some asset grouping. So you can take a video and maybe have some overlays of this example. We've got some text on the screen. A couple of these might show up 1 second later for the little tagline, things like that. And you might have this as a chapter opening of your videos. We can now sort of collapse the video and the groupings of these other visual items that are overlaid together, so that if we start rearranging the timeline, those all are staying nicely grouped together. And sometimes they could get kind of out of sync before, when it wasn't easy to clap those all together and keep them together like that. There's some updates to just the video editor. One of the nice things is some undo and redo actions. Some AI captioning we can add. There's a short little video here, and I'll drop a link to this if you want to watch that. Our timelines are also getting the ability to get down into the nitty gritty of that timeline, and help with trimming, like exactly where your cursor's at. Not you've got like a frame you're trying to keep and not keep, where you're able to do that now. Take availability of that. It's coming for us in our work accounts, our education accounts. It's supposed to be arriving March right now. I haven't seen some of these hit just yet, but that's something to be on the lookout for. And we covered Clipchamp a little while ago. Want to take a look at what and how to use that a little bit better. I'll drop that link in there. The next thing I want to cover is we're going to talk a little bit about some changes coming to Microsoft Lists. I've got a little video here. It's probably going to play a minute or so to give you an idea of some of these changes that are coming. Should be prepared to hear a little bit of audio. So let's get this started.
Is a quick tour of the new Microsoft Lists form features. Let's start with seamless creation of forms. You're going to see a new getting started experience. You can jump right into a form. You don't even have to have a list created. And by creating the form, you actually will create the list. As you dive into creating the form, you'll start to see the list behind the scenes is getting created with the field types that you choose, which includes the ability to now add a logo and additional field types. So if you have an approved or a preferred logo, you can add it to the form. You can see the other new field types that we support, not only.
One thing I want to call out there that's interesting, that's quite new, is there's a lookup capability now. So you could have a SharePoint list that is, say, all the counties in your state. And that might be some information you want to collect in your form, in your list. Now you could use that across multiple forms instead of having to each time go create a choice field and input 60, 70, 100, counties every time. So now you can use a lookup for that instead. So that's a nice little feature there.
Only the common and standard column types, but now we support things like image, attachments. There's also some new form settings. When you look at the settings on the far right, you can set it to notify you when a form has been submitted. You can also control a little bit about the start date and the end date for when you want the form to be active, so that it will automatically close off the form even if people still have the link. And you can control what the message is when it gets submitted, and that the message when the form has been closed. And now let's take a look at conditional branching. This is a very exciting way where you can add a lot of interactivity and choice to how you build out your form. So one question can lead to multiple other questions, and you build it within your form so that when you get a certain response, things show or don't show. And you'll see it when I show you in the active form. After you make your choices of how you want your form to react when people choose certain things, you can also test it out. And as you choose either yes or no, choosing yes exposes other fields here that then you can fill out. And it continues down based on the different selections that you make. You then have different fields that are requested from the person submitting the form. When they click submit, just like before, they don't have access to the form, but they have the value of you being able to guide them through different information that you want them to input or not. And that's it
This
for the quick
oh,
tour. The up.
Leave
Mr.
those
Cashman
links,
was still
those,
talking.
yeah, I can leave those links
So,
up there for a second. People can see those.
yeah.
Yeah, good.
Microsoft List is like we've described it before, but I don't know if we did a deep dive on it. It's like almost like a database in a sense. And the form feature came out last year, I think, and it created an easier way for people to enter data into that quote unquote database. And it's really great because it skipped a step that Joe and I work with very frequently, which is where we use another product with a very similar name called Microsoft Forms. And then we have to bolt in between that another workflow from a product called Power Automate and say, take everything that they put in that form and shove it over here into this list. Well, for internal processes, now it's literally built right in to the front end of it. You can create a form on your list, and seeing branching and those types of things on it are pretty great. And it doesn't mean that you're giving the person filling the form out access to all the data for the list either. You're just giving them an intake that they can fill out. So sorry, I didn't know if you had a demo lined up for this or not. I see you clicking around, but
Yeah, I was gonna just show it briefly, but
oh,
yeah, those
sorry, I
are
ruined it.
important. No, those are important details. I saw that talking about that in the chat. Um, the Microsoft Forms has definitely one feature to call out, and that has the ability to collect data anonymously. So
Yeah.
this Microsoft Lists based form capabilities is internal. You need to authenticate with your org to access and get to it. If you have the new features, you're going to see this new button here that says form and start with a form. Previously, you'd have to go start with a list, and this is a SharePoint list. You may have encountered those before, and you have to start creating columns of data. What do you want to collect? I have a choice column. I create a choice column, a text field, and I have to start naming those and creating those columns. Um, that takes some effort, and then you could come back and add a Microsoft List form on top of it. So yeah, that is something we've been able to do for a little while now. This allows you to just start right with the form and start thinking about what is it you want to collect. Don't worry too much about the back end at all. So you can just hit form. You can give it a name. You can decide, is it a form that I want to put into basically my OneDrive, my form, or I can find a place where I create this list, this SharePoint list, in a team somewhere, where everybody in that team could help see all the results and things like that. That's probably a great thing to do. And I can put that in the site navigation of that site if I want to create this. And then you just start thinking about what are the questions that I want to ask, and you can start building this out. Give it a name. Um, what is it about? We're going to collect a title here. I'm going to say I want some feedback about a web page or something like web URL. I can add another field. Let's do choice. Like, was it helpful? And we could just do yes and a no, and we're off to the races. So I could pass this around. I've got like a nice little new, let's say I've got a new public facing website and I want my internal stakeholders to kind of take a look at that and say, is there any problems with it? Is there any issues with it? I could send them this form around and say, hey, take a look at this site. And if there's a page you don't like or something you don't like, tell me about it. And I can add another field in here that's, just collect some information, multi-line text so they can comment about it. Anyways, you can see on the side, it's starting to build the columns that are going to go into the list. And I can choose themes and we can open and start this like we saw in the little video. And we get a nice little preview of what people are going to see. You previously could sort of send somebody and give them access to a list, but you'd have access to everything. And people could come in and see everything, edit, delete, those kind of things. So this is a nice, safe interface into these two. And last thing we're going to talk about is something that's in preview. And that is something that is coming to Outlook. It's in preview. You could have an administrator turn this on now. So it's not yet on. But I think this is something that eventually we might cover deeper in depth. But this is meant for internal consumption of kind of really enhancing your distribution lists internally. This has been really fun to kind of create and have a chance to create newsletters. I'm going to just walk through creating one. You can find this if you have this service turned on. You're going to end up with this newsletters app that shows up for you in Outlook. And you can get started with a group. In this case, we love our Star Trek. We're going to have a little fun and going to create, now this could be your fiscal department or your HR department, something like that. I can bring in a logo into here. Let's go here. Just pick one of these. I can update our covers. So this is what's called a group page. This is a page that you're going to be able to actually send to people, and they can see all your newsletters and actually choose to subscribe and read them also. You got a little description in here. You can bring in other owners of this grouping of newsletters, this service, I can decide if my entire organization can discover this through the newsletter feed they're gonna have over here, where you can discover and explore all the newsletters that people are publishing. And this will generate its own distribution list behind the scenes that people can subscribe and unsubscribe to. They're going to have a subscribe link in the email. They're going to have an unsubscribe link in the email, all kind of automatic. Or you can use existing distribution lists if you have those already. And we've got this created. I can hit save, which is hidden to me, like kind of up in the upper left. Give that a second. Let's see if we've got our addicts here now. So now we've got our page set up, started. We can start managing some subscribers here. You're going to get analytics on what's been seen. Again, this is internal. It's designed for internal and is set up to work that way. And it can come in here. We've got newsletters, and we can go create a newsletter. We've got a few options to get started with if we wanted to. We've got modern views and status updates, and these are all going to be nicely pre-formatted, going to work great in your email system. So all the features that in here are going to show nicely. dark mode, light mode, responsiveness here. We'll call this, just get something in here. That's who we're going to, I don't have any templates, but you could start having a template of some sort if you wanted to. We're just going to do newsletter.
I was wondering why I was getting all these messages from you about going to Ryza. Now it makes sense.
So this is, now I can start, here's my template system. I can go start updating the text and making changes to this. It's kind of like you're working in SharePoint or Word. I can change these images. I can come in and add other sections and different types of components. I can, edit, remove these, reorder them, things like that. I don't know. Let's stick, we could stick another banner in there or a quote. We got a quote we can put in here and start filling this stuff out. I can add other contributors, so multiple people could edit this. The versioning is not as good as we get in SharePoint right now, but you can do some of that and send this off. Preview this. You can add authors, things like that. I'll just go give you an idea of what that we've completed over here. Got one published. And I've got one subscriber to it. I can kind of come in and take a look at, this is what this looked like. You can have the ability to give people an option to inside their email to add comments or have some interactivity with your newsletters, as you're going to be able to get with this on top of it, and some analytics you'll have also, which is nice and built in. And again, this is great for internal. You don't have to move to a MailChimp or something like that to hit your internal folks. You could maybe potentially start using a tool like this and get what you need.
The thing that you said that I want to double down on, I almost said double click. Joe, if I ever say that, just kick me out of the call. That is, I about went on a rant. That is like some business speak that I've been hearing people say that just drives me crazy. Let's circle back on that and double click on it later. And anyway, if we were going to dive into that a little further, the thing that you said that got my interest is that when people view this newsletter, they never have to leave their Outlook client to really like interact with it, right? It's just loading up right inside of Outlook.
Yep.
It's formatted, it's an Outlook feature, so it's formatted to display nicely in Outlook. They can react in Outlook. They can comment in Outlook. Like, you're not making them click a link, open their web browser, go somewhere else, get distracted, and never come back. So I think that's a really important feature.
Yep.
Take my money. Take me to Ryza.
Yep. So
great planet.
So this, imagine having some interactivity with your newsletters. Actually get people to kind of see these and read these. I think it's pretty exciting. I will drop a little link about that. There is a little, your administrators, to turn this on, they can go do a little discovery on how to do that. I'll just drop a hint if they want to try that out for preview. But yeah, I think I've showed this around a little bit to some other people, and I think I've seen some really big excitement about taking advantage of this. That was a little bit for what's new, but we're good. All done.
If people wanted to experiment with newsletters a little bit, they could play around in SharePoint just a touch, right?
It will have some similar feel. You'll get some of the concepts. So in SharePoint, there's a type of post called a news post, where you also have building blocks of designing a page that is responsive. It's going to look great in your email, and you can send that to an existing distribution list. Is how you would use that. There isn't any built-in subscription capabilities and things like that, but it is a nice way to get a really great looking newsletter out. Our departments that have started taking advantage of that, it's it looks way better than somebody sending an attached PDF. That might look great, but you got to open that file and do some other stuff. So I think that's definitely an interesting way to go. And I think down the road, having this ability to kind of start discovering, and again, this is preview, so we're not 100% sure what this is going to look like, but this ability to kind of explore and discover newsletters that are out there and these group pages might be interesting too, to see if you get some uptake on the information that you're sharing. Limited to size of distribution list. It's all going to be Exchange Online, I think connected inside of this system. If there's probably some limits on like the number of people you would maybe try to send to at one time, but that's where sending to a distribution list is best, where it counts as just like one email, like one person, one recipient to take advantage of that. So if you have to share it with the county or someone that's not in your group, I have seen some people forward this outside the org, it's not supported. So your mileage may vary. You have to check and test those kind of things first. You might not get things like analytics. You would really want to make sure how those images are embedded in that email. Test. And again, it's preview.
It's preview feature. Important. It's going to change.
Yep.
That's a guarantee.
There's already a few things where it didn't work great. And I can tell that there's, they're working on it.
This is kind of a sneak peek. Normally we show you things that are either rolling out now or have just recently changed, which we got some feedback from the group a long time ago where we said, is it okay if we show you stuff that isn't out yet? And because we realized we should kind of show you things that are coming so that you can be prepared for it and not be surprised when you do see it happen. And so we, decided, I don't know how long ago that was, Joe, like maybe even a year ago, kind of mix and match it a little bit, show you a sneak peek of something that's kind of on the way, so that when it does land, you're not like shocked by it. So,
Right.
I do see a hand up. I don't know if that's an accident or if it's a question, but Teresa, maybe not.
Okay, we're good.
It's a thumbs up, not a hand up.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll take both. Yes.
Is publisher going away? Rumor is out. Is it actually a rumor? I thought it was a fact.
Yeah, I think it's official. Yes, that is going away.
I don't think it's a rumor.
It's funny is I was trying to find the best page. I think I was trying to discover this link, and I came across a page that described using publisher to send email from publisher. It's like, we've come a long way.
Yeah. Oh, one thing about, I don't know if this is a what's new or not, but I'm going to say it anyway. Talking about old school ways of sending email. Joe, did you see that new Outlook supports mail merging now?
I have, and it's greater than just like your name or something like that. It really wasn't. I don't know what it was initially, but now you get form fields and things like that. So
full on mail merge if you still do those. So and also you can reorder folders into your own preferred order. But I can't reorder shared mailboxes or calendars, I guess, into a specific order.
Yeah.
I know that was also one that people
something else coming related to folders, but I don't know if it's public yet. So it'll be okay.
I don't know. If we say something on accident, we'll, I don't know, scrub it.
Yeah. What would you maybe want to do to a folder icon? That's what I would just say. Who knows what you can do to it.
Okay, cool. Joe, you good?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. We're going to do a speed run through channels really quickly. I'm going to focus primarily on shared channels, just in case folks are not familiar with those, because they do some pretty cool things. And if my computer lab is not being very agreeable today. It's my connections to my machines are dropping out. So if that happens, I'm going to pivot over to another computer. We're just going to cross our fingers and see how it goes. In the email that we sent out, which Joe authored for me, thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. He made a statement that we've said for a long time. Channels are where work gets done. That's because when you build a team, you've got your people that you add up here. And then you've got your channels where your conversations and your files are getting stored. That's where the work gets done. That's where you post your messages. That's where your Word document is. That's where you click on your file. That's the thing that you make a shortcut to so that you can put it in your OneDrive and open it up with File Explorer. A question that Joe and I would receive from the very inception of Teams was, how do I add somebody to a channel? Joe, I have probably the number one question is, how do I add somebody to a channel? And our response was, well, you don't. You have to add them to the team first. Like, they have to be in the roster of the team in order to see the channels that are inside of the team. Well, that brought up some other nuances of, well, maybe I've got something super special in this channel. And if I add somebody to the team, they're going to see that stuff. And I can't let that happen. So the response was, you need to build another team. And that led to people being in a lot of teams because we couldn't really divide things out. We couldn't carve it up. Well, a long while later, a new type of channel came out. And when you create a channel in a team, you're actually going to see, it says choose channel type, and then you're going to see 3 options. So we started off with standard. That was the one that's the only channel that existed. There wasn't even a type to choose from. It was just create a new channel, and it was always standard. And you'll see there it says everyone on the team has access. That was the problem, was people wanted, I don't know, super secret projects or something like that, or maybe you have trust issues. I don't know. You just need to build a private place. Maybe it's the admin and their assistant, whatever it could be.
I think real quick, I'll jump in, is the concept of bringing information from your file shares that we were used to, is having a separate little place where, again, maybe there's a little folder that just some HR staff have access to that's on the bigger team. And how does that map into Teams world?
Yeah. It would be the equivalent of a subfolder having different access versus an entirely different network drive for different access. Kind of a good analogy there. So later we came out with private channels, and you'll notice it says specific people on the team have access. Okay. So this means I still have to add them to the team first. Then I can bring them into a private channel. So they're still going to see all the standard channels, and then they'll only see the private channels that I give them access to. Okay, well, that's a little bit better, but we did have situations where somebody said, yeah, but I've got this channel over here and I've been working in it for years and it's got all this conversation. I don't want the person seeing that. What do I do? And our answer was, you create another team. So here we are. We're back to creating more teams. We're in lots of teams. Well, then later came out shared channels, and these are amazing. These are really nimble. They can do a lot more than a private channel. And Joe, I'm going to say something. It's probably not going to get me in trouble, I don't think. I don't really see a reason to ever use a private channel again. Do you?
That is what I start with now that they've come out.
So
that's
we're just
where I
gonna
start someone. There's that one single caveat that we might have with private channels. I'm sure we'll talk about, but otherwise, it's shared. There's extra benefits definitely around shared channels that we'll talk about.
The name is deceiving. Even the description is slightly deceiving, but take our word for it. Just trust us. We're, Joe's from the government and he's here to help. These are better because they give you the very granular control that you probably want of, I only want to add like these 3 people that a private channel gets you, but it gets it to you in an even better way because you don't have to add them to the team first. You can pull a completely separate person in and give them access to one channel in your team, and that's it. They'll have no idea that any other channel exists. So if you're like cross collaborating with different units in your university or multiple county offices coming together for a project, you could make a shared channel for that project that crosses all those county lines and put that channel in those counties' teams all at the same time. Like, it's pretty sick. Jackie beat me to it. It says outside your org can have access. This is the only like asterisk that we need to put on this. That capability is really designed for 2 completely separate Microsoft 365 shops that want to work together, like a joint venture between 2 private companies, or mergers and acquisitions where we just gobbled up another company and now we need those employees to work together. It requires administrative effort on both sides to make all these things line up and effectively trust each other. So it would require a global administrator from your university and a global administrator from, let's say, the admin of the county that runs their instance of M365 to like be friends and agree to do the same thing. So it could happen. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying like it's a lot. So when I create a shared channel, so we're going to call this, Rise a Trip, because I'm following Joe's lead here, and I make it a shared channel. I have this option here. It says share this channel with everyone on this team. Well, that would effectively make it function like a standard channel. That would say anybody that's on the team right now and anybody that I add to the team in the future automatically gets access to this channel. That's okay. Maybe that's what you need. Maybe you want everybody in your team to have it, plus that one random guy over there also needs to have access to it. You could do this, and that's okay. I'm going to uncheck the box just for the sake of the demo because I want to show you how this would work. So I'm going to click create. I'm very happy. Well, I don't want to say it out loud, Joe. Things seem to be pretty stable right now. I don't know what's going on with my computer today. So once I've created the channel, it says share it, right? Type the name of somebody in your org that you want to add to this channel. So I'm going to skip it because I don't want to do that just yet. I want to actually look at the channel itself. So I'm going to scroll down here. You see there's this new icon. You can see I've got a few of them because I've been playing around and having fun. It looks like a chain link or a Mobius strip or something like that. But we've got Ryza Trip here. I'm going to click on the meatball menu and I have new options here. I have share channel. I have 3 choices. I can share it with a person or a couple of persons. I can share it with another team. So like maybe I want to share it with a team that Joe owns. Like he owns the department of, security. And I want to make sure that they have access to this channel as well. I could say, hey, Joe, we're working together. Here's this channel I just made. Make sure all your security people have access to it. And it would let him give his security team access to it. Or maybe I own the security team also. I could say I want this channel to show up in team 1 and in team 2 at the same time. So now we're talking like quantum physics, like this thing exists in 2 places at once, which is pretty awesome. You're also going to see when you click manage channel, there's this concept that's similar to that of a team where I have members and those members can have different roles. We've gone from quantum physics to Inception. Now we have a team inside of a team. We've gone 2 levels deep in dreamland here. So we've got a role of owner and a role of member. So as I bring people on, I can give them that role, and then that would let them add people to the channel from that point forward. You're going to see a new kind of tab here for managing that process of sharing this channel with another team. There's like a little, dance that you go through with your colleague. And you're also going to see some settings on this as well, similar to like how you would at a team level. Like, do I want my members to be able to add additional tabs to the top or something like that? Or do I want them to be able to tag everybody when they make their posts? It's a smaller list. And one notable thing that's not here is channel moderation. Channel moderation is how you would decide if people were allowed to post messages or not. You cannot turn off the ability for the people that you share this channel with to be able to collaborate in it. Its entire purpose is smaller groups of people collaborating with each other. It wouldn't be very collaborative if you couldn't talk in it. So, all right, I'm going to share this channel with a people, and that people is going to be Beverly. So we're going to add Beverly Crusher as member. We'll click share. So when Beverly, oh, darn it. It's going to be
Does it
like
recover?
that today.
Does it recover?
I don't know. I don't know what's causing this today. Okay,
There.
it came back. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, well, that's good. Beverly now sees Riza Trip. Beverly's also a member of the team itself, though, so it's not a great way to explain this. I'll start off. Let me just start off with a fresh team now that I think about it. So let's go create team, other, template, private. Always pick private. Did y'all know that? Joe brought up something really brilliant to me the other day. Public says anyone in your org can join. Well, you're probably like, yeah, I want people in my org to join. If we truly renamed that, it would say anybody in your entire organization can see and delete all your stuff.
Without
That's really what that means.
Without asking.
Without even asking you. If it said that, I think less people would pick public team. So just don't pick public team. We'll just call it a shared channel demo 63 because I'm not very creative right now. We'll create this team real quick, and then Beverly won't be a member of it. So this will be a better example. But the point is, I can now selectively decide if a person, regardless of their membership of the team where the channel exists, can have access to this. That is what you all have asked for a really long time, because that was the original question was, can I add somebody to a channel? And the answer was no. So we're going to go Riza Trip 2. We're going to make it a shared channel, not share it with anybody. I'll also make a couple more channels in here just so you can see that Beverly won't know that those channels exist. She won't see the general channel. And then we'll add another channel and we'll call it the holodeck. We'll make that standard. So just build this team out real quick. Come on, teams, you can do it. Oh shoot, we're at time, Joe.
We
It's
just
fast. Oh my gosh. Okay, real quick, sharing with people, sharing with Beverly again. I just have two things I want to show you real quick before we end because I realize we're at time. So now Beverly disconnected again. She would see that there was a new channel. It would appear to her like she had been added to a team, but that team only had one channel in it. There you go. Wanted to prove it. So she sees the name of the team where the channel lives, but she has no visibility to any of the other channels that we created, like the general channel, the standard one, and the holodeck channel that we just created. That's cool point number one. Cool point number two is Nestor can actually decide to share this channel with a completely different team. So he's going to share it with Teaching Systems Technology. And what you're going to see is, come on. There it is. You see Riza Trip 2 Rise of Trip 2. So now I have one channel that exists in two teams at the same time. It's not two channels that are copied. It's the same channel. So if Nestor posts a message in here that says, hi, let's go on our trip, that message is going to show up instantly in both channels at the same time, both teams at the same time. Beverly would also have visibility to it, but only in shared channel demo 63, right? She doesn't know about the other team. She has no idea, but now she could collaborate with other people that were members there. So it is a complex topic. I would say shared channels are typically not like what we lead with when we talk about how to collaborate with teams. They do support everything a private channel does and more, in my opinion. The biggest one being the ability to schedule a meeting is supported in a shared channel. It is not supported in a private channel. I think Joe dropped a little feature matrix that shows you, here's all the things you could do in each channel type. You can create 1,000 of these in a team versus a private channel. I think maxes out, was it Joe, 30?
30.
So yeah, I mean, I think the name of the video should just be, there's no reason to use private channels anymore.
I think that one caveat is if you bring in private, if you need to bring in external people.
Guests.
If you're bringing in guests, if your team's not working with guests, then there's no reason to work with a private channel.
Yeah,
that's really your kick.
Yeah.
External guests cannot join a shared channel.
I mean, this is amazing though. Like, sharing this across your departmental line, like you have a project where we're all going to work together on something, and there's multiple teams that are going to be a part of it. Somebody could decide like, okay, we're going to create a shared channel for this project, and I'm going to share it out with all of you team owners, and you decide what team you want to put that shared channel in, and that will then give all those people access to it. And now you're not in another team. You don't have another list, teams in your list. You just have a channel buried inside of one of your existing teams that you're used to working in. And it holds all those people, can all work together.
And
the question in the chat. Yes, it is a brand new SharePoint site collection is created for this. It is not associated in a sense with the parent team. Like it's not, the permissions aren't inherited from it though. You'll actually see when you click on the SharePoint site, it identifies it as a shared channel. And then you'll see the name of it appended, the parent team, and the SharePoint site URL appended the name of the parent team to it as well. But the permissions are completely separate. Yeah.
You can share a shared channel into 50 other teams.
Yeah. Up to 50.
To think about.
Yeah. There is that maximum. Yeah.
Yep.
But sorry, y'all, we ran you over a little bit, had a lot of what's new stuff. I rambled on for a while. But we want you to play with shared channels. Try creating one, add a friend, add another team of friends, goof off with them a little bit and let us know what you think. Remember, the chat now for this year, for 2025, runs all throughout the month. So if you try shared channels and you run into something and you don't know what's going on, post it in the Cloudy County meeting chat. Like, we'll see it.
Yep.
And we'll try to help out. That's what the chat is there for. It's been kind of quiet, so we might start like poking you a little bit, see how people if you have any questions. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording, and then Joe and I will hang out on the call for a little while longer if you have questions. So
absolutely. Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, everybody.